extended read too. Remember to annotate as you read.
The Stone Garden, a reimagining of Stone Soup by Jeffrey First. The houses on Yancey Place were on the small side. They were kind of old too, but the homes were neat. The yards were tidy. The people of Yancey Place were proud of their neighborhood. That changed when the gas station on the corner closed. The owners took out the gas tanks. They took out the pumps. They knocked down the building where you got snacks. All that was left was an empty lot. Well, it wasn't empty. Stones, bricks, broken slate, plastic bottles, and old tires were everywhere. "This is an eyesore," said the people of Yancey Place. A small crowd stood in front of the litter-filled lot. "What can be done about it?" "There is nothing we can do," cried a woman with 10-year-old twins. "To make it even worse, now I am afraid to let my kids ride their bikes. They might go into the lot and hurt themselves." Voices rose, then grew quiet. An old man in a cloth cap stepped through the crowd. He was a visitor to Yancey Place. He went into the lot. He looked around. "This is not an eyesore," he said. "It is a lovely stone garden." Then the visitor took off his backpack and rolled up his sleeves. He pushed a large stone to the center of the lot. A man who had lived his whole life on Yancey Place laughed. "You call that junkyard a stone garden?" Others in the crowd laughed with him. The visitor showed no sign of being insulted. He said, "I have traveled the world, sir. I have been to big cities. I have visited grand stone gardens. Let me put some rocks around the big stone. Then you will see the makings of a fine stone garden." The visitor looked carefully at the rubble. He picked up 9 rocks. Each rock was the size of a fist. He placed each rock in a circle around the stone. Said a woman petting a little dog. The dog had a bow in its hair. "I do see the makings of a stone garden." Now the visitor smiled. "Of course," he said. "To make this stone garden world class, we might paint the rocks different colors. I saw that in a stone garden in Paris." "I have some red paint," said the woman with the dog. "I have some blue paint," volunteered another person. Within an hour, the little rocks around the big stone glowed. They were painted with every color of the rainbow. "Yes, indeed," said the visitor. "This is becoming a fine stone garden. Of course, to make a stone garden a garden, it should have plants. It should have flowers." A girl made her way through the crowd. She said, "I am growing tomatoes in flower pots at home. I can bring in some seedlings." "Excellent," said the visitor. "My cousin works in a flower shop," said another person. "He can get us a good deal on plants. My favorite is the butterfly bush." "Wonderful," said the visitor. "I don't mind getting my hands dirty," said a young man. "I'll help dig up the ground. It's good exercise. Plus, freshly dug earth feels happy in your hands." "Sign us up," said some teenagers. They wore yellow sneakers and black socks. Other teenagers said, "Sign us up too." They wore purple sneakers and orange socks. The teens in yellow sneakers and black socks picked up the plastic bottles. The teens in purple sneakers and orange socks rolled away the tires. Together, they built a slate walkway around the stone garden. The people of Yancey Place worked all day in the garden. They worked the next day too. The visitor gave direction here and encouragement there. "This is turning out to be one of the finer stone gardens I have ever seen," he said. "But..." A small man with smiling eyes interrupted the visitor. He said, "To make this a truly fine garden, we should add a string of paper lanterns. I am an electrician. I can do that, if someone has paper lanterns." A tall woman with long hair did have some paper lanterns in her basement, somewhere. She and the electrician went to look. "Paper lanterns will make this a fine stone garden, especially at night," said a large man with hands the size of catcher's mitts. "But to make it a truly fine stone garden, it needs an outdoor brick oven. We could have neighborhood cookouts." "That is a truly fine, excellent, and wonderful idea," said the tomato plant girl. "But how can we build it?" "We have a huge pile of bricks," said the large man. "All I need is some help." "Sign us up," said the teenagers. By now, some teens wore yellow sneakers and orange socks. Others wore purple sneakers and black socks. The large man gave the teens instructions. Then he turned to the visitor and said, "What do you think of this idea?" By that time, the old man had on his backpack. He took one last look at one of the truly finest stone gardens he had ever seen and was on his way.